Everyone, welcome to Divine Audacity. I am so grateful that you're here. I am so grateful to see so many familiar faces. Hi, Ayla. Hi, Shirley. Hi, May. And we have some new faces. Hi, Ida. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. So one of the first things that I'm going to ask is that you put your video on. This starts to cultivate the first breakthrough that we're really after as women, to be seen, to be intimate, to be with each other. I know that when you have the videos on, you might be driving, you might be doing things, but if you can, my invitation is that you come online with your video and allow us to see you and fully receive you. So my goal was to start with a song before we kick off, to introduce to you the vibes, which I'm sure you've probably seen. So let's see if I'm able to pull that off. Bear with me 1 second. Let me know if you guys can hear this. And my invitation is that you get up and move with me. Okay. Can you guys hear it? So if you can get up and dance, this is my invitation. We're gonna move for about a minute together.
Mientras uno está vivo, uno debe amar lo más que pueda.
Let's go. Bum, 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 bum. Literally feeling chills all over my body. We're gonna go straight to the chorus. Me enseñaste a bailar. No te puedo borrar. Me enseñaste a querer. Me enseñaste a bailar. 30 more seconds. Loosen those hips, ladies. No te puedo borrar. Me enseñaste a querer. Me enseñaste a bailar. ¡Woo! Wepa. Thank you for indulging me. Now, welcome to Divine Audacity, the infinite game of God, guts, and glory. Thank you for those that turned on your videos, for allowing me to see you. Whew. My body is electric. Electric. Since yesterday, it has been buzzing. Buzzing. Okay. All right, let's get started, y'all. We got a lot to cover. So, why divine audacity? Can you guys hear me? Why divine audacity? This is a 4-day activation, a 4-day portal. Today, Venus and Jupiter are coming together, conjunction, that's what that means, coming together in the middle of this epic eclipse portal on this day that is another numerology portal, 222. And we just had a solar eclipse. The dates are always assigned by my guides, and I never know ahead because I'm not an astrologer, and I want to make that full disclosure. But my guides always whisper to me about transitions and specific things that are happening planetary wise. One of the things that we're going to be covering today is about setting up the game. What does the infinite game mean? And why divine audacity? When Venus and Jupiter come together, these are like two mama bear and papa bear planets. When you think about Jupiter, it is the biggest planet of our galaxy, to my understanding. It has over 90 moons. I mean, the stats on this planet, we can't even fathom. We just have one moon. But something that was revealed to me a few days ago is that this is about activating our leadership as if we were Jupiterians. Jupiterian leadership isn't about reacting to all the bullshit. And there's a lot happening in the world right now. There's so much being exposed. There's so much that is being illuminated, and we're not going to go into all of that. You can research that on your own. But what I do want to preface is that this is about activating your leadership and your capacity to really lead in the full magnitude of your power. Women for centuries have been brainwashed to believe that they are a property, something that will never be enough, or that it will be always too much. And so we're swinging in this pendulum of too much, too little, not enough. We've been programmed to believe that there's not enough space for all of us to shine fully. We've been programmed to believe that we have to be putting every single person before us, our husbands, our children, everyone comes before us. You're juggling so much. There's so many single moms today that are holding down the fort as both mom and dad. There's so many women that do not trust other women. And rightfully so, because women are hard on each other. The world that we've been programmed to believe is that in order to belong, you had to stand out. And so if you didn't stand out and you got really comfortable at playing the invisible game, then you literally shrunk. No one could see you. And that get very comfortable. That got very normalized. You playing at a fraction of your power. And so we're living in a time where women are either reacting to this power that is coming online, and they don't know how to be with it, And the moment that they get glimpses of it, for example, if I asked you in this moment, and I want you to be ruthlessly honest, if your income tripled overnight, how would your body respond? Would it feel more relaxed? Or would it feel pressure? Would it feel anxiety? Portals like today illuminate something really important. Where are the holes? Where's the lack of standards? Where the lack of structure? And so if I asked you, if you had overnight the visibility and the impact that you wanted, do you have the body that can hold it? Do you have the capacity to fully receive it? Or would you flinch if all eyes were on you in this moment? If I put a spotlight on you on this Zoom and all of these eyeballs were on you, how would you react? Would you receive it? Would you shine brighter? Or would you shrink? Would you feel anxiety? Would it feel like punishment? And if your body is not ready, trying to force it will be a huge disservice. It's why the people that hit the lotto that aren't ready for it spend it. Within a year or two, they go broke because they didn't have the energetics, the body, the capacity to truly hold it, the structure to truly honor it. And then if we move into what you're truly here for, I really believe that every single one of us was born with a purpose, a mission, a divine destiny, if you call it, where you living at your highest, most fullest potential is about you claiming every single desire in your body. But most women are trained to play small, to deny their desires, to say, oh, I just want enough money. I'll be okay, like, let me just get by. Because to be seen in your ambition, to be seen in your truest desires can feel confronting, even to yourself. And you move through layers where the first people that get upset is your family because you no longer belong. Because the sex and the success and the sex and the wealth and the prosperity that you truly desire, your family is going to be like, what the heck? And they're going to start saying things. They're going to call you crazy, or she's full of it. Oh my God, there she goes again. When I started this work, it was my family that thought I was crazy. They thought I joined like a Mormon community and that I had lost it. I came to this country when I was 17. I live in New York. My name is Michelle Giovanni, for those of you that don't know. I came to New York when I was 17. I ran away from a very extreme, violent situation. My mother used to get beat in Dominican Republic in very extreme ways. And as the eldest, I was the one that had to get up in the middle of the night, clean the blood, hide my siblings from my stepfather. I had to grow up really fast at a very young age. And after years of witnessing that, learning how to drive a car because I wanted to go find my mom at night, by the age of 12, I was driving a stick shift. And I'm tiny, so I needed pillows underneath me to be able to see. When I came to this country, I was 17 years old. I ran away with nothing. And I would love to say, oh my gosh, that was the only time that I burned it all down. Nope. And I'm sure you have your story of how many times you've burned it all down. You've had to start over. You had to walk away from a relationship, from another relationship, from a marriage. You had to walk away from a business that didn't make sense. You had to walk away from situations that didn't serve you, friendships that drained you, that were toxic. You had to walk away. And so running away at 17 was the first of many moments where I had to literally burn it all down. I had to walk away from relationships, from a dream job, from things that didn't make sense. And a lot of times, the initiation that most women go through, the first initiation, is grief. And whether that's you as a new mom grieving your maiden, or you as a first year entrepreneur grieving the loss of freedom because everybody sold you that being an entrepreneur was like working 4 hours a day. Or my 5 year, 10 year entrepreneurs grieving all the different versions of themselves that they had to grieve in order to become who they are today. The relationships we had to grieve, the friendships we had to grieve. That moment when we finally wake up usually starts with grief. That's the first initiation. And even when life is great and there's something that you just feel like grief for all those younger parts that didn't have the safety to fully receive what you have created today. Grief for the loss of innocence. There's so many moments that mark us as women in our womanhood. And so Divine Audacity is a 4-day activation where we're going to go through identity, we're going to go through wealth, and you're going to learn the laws of divine audacity. You're going to learn these pillars of sovereign wealth. What does that look like? What does it mean to hold, to build the capacity, to train a new identity that is, by the way, you all along, without the stuff, without the baggage, without the shit that you've been trained to believe in, that has had you hold a contraction and normalize it. You know, it's like people that are limping and they think everything's fine, but you can see they're clearly limping. A lot of us are so strong. I believe women are so powerful in that sense that we can normalize contractions and make it look like we're at 100. We're strong, we're fierce. And so oftentimes our 20 or 40% blows people away. Meanwhile, you're contracted in the fullness of who you truly are. And you've normalized it. There's one of my favorite images by this artist. I don't know his name, but there's this woman with the mop and the sweep and the pots and the pans and the iron and the children's toys and the baby that she's carrying. And she has all these arms like the goddess Durga. And she's carrying all these different roles that she does. And yet she goes out into the world and is fierce. And then what ends up happening is we walk into rooms that are misaligned and we start to contract even more. We start to dim down even more because being in our pleasure can feel threatening. Being in our full magnetism can make us pray. And then before you know it, we're walking around normalizing that contraction. Being a woman can be exhausting, especially when you're living out of that normalized contraction. When you're constantly playing down your desires, your dreams, what you truly want, what you truly desire, knowing that you were born for so much more. And we're living in a very dangerous time because women are getting really good at speaking empowerment. They're getting really good. Have you ever talked to someone that's talking a lot, but you're not getting anything that they're saying? And it's like, hi, yeah, no, I'm moving through some things that, they feel a little bit sticky, but all is great. God is good. I'm moving through something, and you're just like, what the fuck are you saying? Can we talk English? And so we're getting really good at using the spiritual language, at hiding our true, authentic, most magnetic, raw, and real self. The parts of us that are electric, the parts of us that would magnetize people into our field instantly if you allowed yourself to be real and audacious. And so divine audacity is about taking up space in that truth, in that magic, in that vibration that is you. Let me know in the comments if this is resonating, because we're going to go deeper, but we're just setting context. Most women get lost in the overthinking and in the stalling, in the I need more courses, I need more certifications, and then they'll find themselves in like 12 different things. That was me. In 20 different masterminds, downloading 100 PDFs and freebies and courses and things because I needed more information. And if I wasn't there yet, it's because I needed to learn more. And I really believe that's one of the biggest traps in spiritual development, in the personal development, in the self-development. Women are the biggest consumers in this endless trap, thinking they need to work harder and work harder. But think about all the women, y'all, in your lives, in your families. Think about all the women that you've met. Think about our elders that worked really freaking hard. Think about the people in third world countries that work extremely hard. If it was about working hard, there would be so many millionaire people walking everywhere. Why aren't the janitors wealthy? Why aren't the teachers in our school districts wealthy as fuck? Do you know all the work they do? Yes. When you want more information, you need integration. So it's not about working harder. It's not about consuming more information. It's about identity and capacity. One of the things that was asked recently, one of my sisters asked my mentor, what would you say to me if I was your daughter and you were starting over? Let's say I'm your daughter, I'm really young. What's the one thing you would want me to get? And I was really curious to hear the answer. And then I was blown away by it because it wasn't what I was expecting. And it was develop a bigger threshold for pain. Develop your capacity to hold pain. One of the biggest things that I believe in is that your ability to walk with sovereignty in your pain, in your desires, in your dream, in your devotion will set you free moment to moment to moment. And so our pain threshold, I would say to myself, I can't wait till I get to X amount and this amount and this amount, visibility, impact, global impact. But the moment I would walk into a room and I would feel all the eyes on me, I would contract. I would hide. I would hide behind my husband, who is larger than life, loves to take up the oxygen in the room. And I would hide behind him. How many of you can relate to that, where you set yourself up in a way that you're in control of your reality. To the extent where when you're out there in the unknown, you contract and then you normalize it. And then it becomes part of your identity. And all of a sudden, your ego, super spiritual, has done all the retreats, all the courses you've taken, and it's telling you, no, you're not ready yet. It's discernment. We're discerning in this moment. No, I get a weird vibe from that girl. Meanwhile, that woman is in her freedom, in her power, and here you are questioning it. True wealth responds to our identity, to who we believe we are, and not who you think you are. Because there's two versions of you playing out. There's the version of you that we're going to call ego, and I know ego gets a bad rap. I'm apologizing in advance for all the misinformation. Ego is not bad. It's simply the curated version of you, the version of you that has been programmed, that has been habituated, the part of you that associates with itself, with you. Now, when there's this over-identification with that part of you, then the ego gets a bad rap, because now you're no longer free to be yourself. You're here trying to be this perfect version of yourself that is controlled, calculated, curated in all the ways. It knows what to say, it knows how to operate. But here's the thing, our truest, most realist path, you can't control. And the moment you think you know what to do, it is controlled. When you're deeply immersed in your life path, in your life mission, you just know 1 or 2 steps ahead. And so I'm going to be teaching you over the next few days a sequence on how to shorten that gap, collapse the timeline through this framework of sovereign wealth. Now, I want to talk about something. When you think about the finite game versus the infinite game, the finite game is the one that's more associated with the ego, with the part of you that thinks it knows, with the part of you that is controlling every single thing. But the problem with controlling every single aspect of the game is that it no longer feels real to you, because your soul knows the full magnitude of your potential and who you are. And so there's who you are and who you are becoming. The ego is operating from a third stance of who it thinks it knows is you, who it's been practicing knowing you. But the part of you that thinks it knows you is simply associating it with you from the past. Because all of the beliefs, all of the habits are coming from past identity. And so your ego is simply a version of your old identity. And the problem that women struggle with, myself included, is that we become so attached to those parts of us that are super familiar. Because that creates some kind of safety to our ego. Now, I have good news and bad news. This is not the space that is going to be safe for your ego. We're going to go there. We're going to go deep. It will be confronting to your ego in moments. But this is why you're in the right room. For your soul's fullest expression, you are in the right room. A room that is holding you in your power. There's so many communities that love to say over and over and over, it's proximity to power, it's proximity to power. And I don't believe in that. It's power to power. Because that proximity to power bullshit will keep you trapped. Always feeling less than. Always feeling like you gotta do more, learn more, get more prepared. When in reality, you just gotta Work your magic. Get your shit done. Put yourself out there. Do the thing. Do the thing that you know you've been stalling. Do the thing that you know you've been avoiding. Recently, I had one of my clients, I won't say her name, who got really pissed off at me. I forfeited one of her calls because I was like, we are done talking about the shit. You either get this done or you forfeit the call. My calls one-on-one are expensive. And so she was not happy with me. But guess what? She got the thing done and then she started using it for her content, and insane that was just her first try. The finite game, we're going to make a distinction here between the finite game and the infinite game. The finite game is about you serving your ego, you doing it for the applause, you doing it for the notoriety, the significance, the importance, the certainty, you doing it to feel safe in your ego. But the infinite game comes with a lot more variety. This is about serving God. And if you don't believe in God, fill in the blank what it is for you. I believe in this higher power that literally has created everything we see. A galaxy in perfect formation. If we were just inches closer to the sun, we would all be fried. If we were just a millisecond further away from the sun, we'd be frozen. Think about that. It's all math. It's all perfect math. And yet here you are on a floating rock that is in perfect formation in order to sustain and have life flourishing and thriving. And here you are collapsing and going crazy about your life not working out. That's when you're playing the finite game. But when you're playing the infinite game, you know that you have dreams, that you have a purpose, and that you were born for this dream, and that you were born for your desires, that you were born for this business. I was taking a Kabbalah class last year, and he said something that was so perplexing. He said, when you have a really big mission on your heart, a really big business, the moment that you have the business idea and you start working on it and bringing this business to life, in that very moment, there are people being born for that vision. Think about that. And yet here you are, playing small, playing safe, pretending you're fucking busy with all the things, but avoiding the very thing that you know you need to be doing. Playing down your gifts, hoarding your gifts. And what I mean by hoarding is like you have gifts for this very moment in time. For everything you're seeing on the news, whether you read it or not, whether you listen to the news. I don't. I get my news from other sources. But if you're seeing the state of the world, I'm here to tell you, you have gifts for these exact times. There are people that are asleep waiting for you to wake the fuck up and lead. And when you start leading yourself, they start waking up. And when they start waking up, others start waking up, because we are all with a divine assignment. There are people that I can serve. And there are people that I'm not meant to serve. That Yael is meant to serve. That Shirley's meant to serve. We are all on divine assignment. But the moment you start looking left, right, and comparing yourself to someone else's blueprint, you're playing the finite game. And so the infinite game is about assignment. It's about stewardship. It's about legacy. It's about impact. And if these words scare you, good. Welcome to your power contracting. Finite thinking, when you do it for the applause, when you do it for the validation, when you do it for the optics, for how it looks, It creates fragile success. It creates soft leadership. It creates the kind of leadership that panics when the house is on fire. But the infinite game is for the builders, the creators, the dreamers, the people that are here for a divine assignment. And throughout this program, you're going to be hearing me speak about an invitation to transcend. It's a year-long mastermind where we're going to go deep into integrating, actioning your power. It's a space where, if you ask any of my clients here, you don't get to hide. We get to do work. We get to move you forward. So you're going to be hearing me speak about transcend. Because it's about being discerning. It's about getting yourself into the right rooms. Rooms that hold you in your power. Rooms that truly see you and won't let you hide. Rooms that get the bigness of why you're here. I want to talk about when you say, if I were to ask you, are you ready for more wealth? What would you say? Most women are going to say yes. Are you ready for more visibility? Most women are going to say yes. Are you ready for impact? Yes. I love these conferences that people are like, yes, yes, yes. And then they go home and their behavior says otherwise. Like if I had your most expensive, your highest client, your highest customer, your employer in the room right now with you, following you, are you playing to win as if they were in the room watching you? Or is there a gap? Does your behavior say otherwise when no one's watching? And only you know the truth of that. When the pressure is on, do you collapse? Do you hide? Do you say, this is my year, and then go back to eating chips? Do you say, this is my moment, and then not go to that gym? It's all connected. Every habit, every standard that you hold, it's all connected to how you move when no one's watching. So if your standards shift under pressure, if your environments play small, if you shrink when you put yourself out there, when you walk into the rooms, if you put that invisible cloak, and y'all know what I'm talking about, where no one can see you or feel you, but yet your family know a whole different version of you. With your family, you are loud. You are the life of the party. You are the woman that brings them joy. And yet in these rooms, you go silent. If you shrink when you're being seen, this isn't about more information. This is about building capacity. And we're going to get into that more tomorrow. I want you to write down these two questions. On one side of the paper, you're going to write, the woman I've been protecting. And on the other side of the paper, or on a different page, you're going to write, the woman I am avoiding becoming. And then you're going to write one more page, the woman I choose to fully own. What would you stop asking permission for if you truly trusted yourself? I want you to be with these questions tonight. The time in between eclipses isn't about manifesting. This is not like a wish portal. This is for you to get really radically honest about where you've been playing at. What are the standards? What are the structures? Where have you been avoiding your true power? But what I do want you to do, I'm going to repeat them right now. But what I do want you to do is own everything, if you can, that you've created over the last however years you've been alive. And I want you to write that piece from like you owning your full power. So if you're an entrepreneur, how much money you've generated since the very beginning. If you had a different business, how much money did you generate in that business? I want you to tally it all up. I've generated this amount since I became an entrepreneur. I graduated this, I went to this. Like, I want you to really own all of your achievements, all of your accolades, every single part of your story that is the one aspect of you that you know is more truer than true. So the question is, the woman I've been protecting. The second question is, the woman I am avoiding becoming. The woman I am avoiding becoming. The third one is, the woman that I'm choose to fully own is. And the last one is, what would you stop asking permission for if you truly trusted yourself fully? I want you to own your full story in the peak of its power. I want you to own your full, like, everything you've created, everything that you've overcome, everything that you've transcended. There are things that you have overcome. There are things that you have been through. There are things that you haven't fully celebrated. There are things that you haven't fully taken in. And so when you're complete with that assignment, my invitation is for you to read it out loud to someone you love and trust. And if you live alone and you don't have somebody, do it in the mirror. Say it out loud to yourself. Let it land in your body. Saying it to someone else will give you the power to fully be witnessed in you reclaiming this on a somatic level in your body. So, devotion without structure collapses. Over the next few days, you're going to learn how to be deeply devoted to yourself and to God, to the calling in your soul. Because that's my main intention here. Whether you stick with me after this, I would be over the moon to support you in bringing your gifts to life and bringing your purpose, your mission to that next level. But if this is the only container we have, my invitation is that you show up, with your presence, that you play full out. Because my intention is that you are connected on a channel, clear, squeaky clean with God, fully locked in. That you move with God, that you create with God, that you move with the courage and the power that the only source of your power can give you. Only the source of your power can give you. We're not meant to do this alone. We need women that see us in our power and that allow us to hold them in their power. That's when some of my biggest healings have come through. Being in sacred containers with sisters that deeply see me and celebrate me at my highest and see me and celebrate me at my worst. That is the biggest gift we can give each other So when you come here, I want you to come in your magic, in your fierce devotion to yourself, to each other, with your videos on, cultivating from the very beginning your ability to be seen and to witness each other. We're going to close with a meditation. I'm so grateful. I'm so excited, y'all. We have over 500 women that said yes to this challenge, to this activation. I'm over the moon for your trust. I'm over the moon for you saying yes to yourself. This isn't about a master class, and there's so many things being offered free right now. And with ChatGPT, you can go down the endless rabbit hole. But this is about moving with your full devotion to yourself and source, to creator, and the dreams, the desires, the assignment that you have, that you were born for. Over the next 4 days, 3 days after this, we're going to be dismantling ego. We're going to be recalibrating your identity. And we're going to be architecting wealth through stewardship. What does that mean? What does it mean to own something, to build something? Money that feels good, assets that you can touch, homes, businesses. We need to think bigger, dream bigger, and act in the fullness of our power. And I'm so here for it. So we're going to take a deep breath. You're going to close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You're going to do a couple more breaths. In through the mouth, out through the nose. Giving yourself permission with every exhale to relax. Thanking your body for every sigh, every yawn. Thanking your body for holding you, for doing so much more than you can even imagine in this moment for you. I want you to put one hand in your belly, one hand in your heart. We're going to thank Father, Mother, Spirit for this moment, for this sacred moment in time. We're going to thank our ancestors, the ancestors of the land that you're on, the ancestors of your mother's lineage, your father's lineage, your ancestors, both in human and cosmic form. You're going to thank your guides, our allies. Thank you, Mother, Father, Spirit. Breathing into your belly. Putting your hands to your side. Breathing into your heart. We're going to begin meditation. And when the meditation is complete, I will leave the screen and you are welcome to stay as long as you like. I want you, with the power of your third eye, to visualize you going into your heart. Think of like a ladder that's coming out of your third eye, this little version of you, out of your third eye, going down this ladder, into a sacred room. But this room has golden doors. Before you enter the room, you see this beautiful golden door. You start going down the steps closer to the door. We're gonna go down the steps together. 5 steps, 4 steps, 3, 2, 1. And you're in front of this golden door, and it's huge, but yet it recognizes you. It starts illuminating, and you open up the door. It opens up and it greets you. And this room is magical. This room is yours. This room is your heart chamber. This room has been designed by you. It has your most favorite beautiful things. It's the perfect color. You might have greenery, you might have super minimalist. It's you. You know it's you. But you notice that there's another door, and that door is towards the back of the room. And you start walking towards the back of the room. And as you move closer to that door, the door also recognizes you. And you close your eyes and bow to it. And it opens up. And you move through those doors into this beautiful greenery, this beautiful, magical, enchanted forest with the most beautiful colors. And you walk through it, and this path becomes illuminated, and you start walking on the path, and all of a sudden someone is walking on that path towards you. And you get quiet and really present, and you feel this beautiful being walking towards you. And this being of light, you start to recognize it looks very, very similar to you. This being of light may be taller and bigger, but she is the definition of divine audacity. She is bold and beautiful and majestic. She's dressed up in a way that you're just like, wow. She's adorned. And as she's getting closer to you, see her clearer and clearer. And you both greet each other with this big hug. And she grabs your hands and places something in that hand of yours. You see it, and you put it inside your heart. And you grab her hand, and she comes in and puts her forehead onto yours. And you start to receive her safety, her joy, her magnetism, her freedom. You breathe, and you're receiving all the safety. Now something really interesting happens as she goes into hugging you all over again. She morphs into you, and as she morphs into you, you are floating in a body of water. You're floating, allowing yourself to deeply attune to this majestic body of water. Your job is to relax. Relax in your power. The softer you are, the stronger. The stronger, the more powerful. There's nothing to prove, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to rush for. Your divine feminine knows her timing. This is your line in the sand. This is your moment. All you have to do is receive.